in the Tyler Perry stage production is this, okay? No one is making gum from scratch.
People started to compare you to tradwife.
Yeah.
And people were
They kind of used me as the poster child for the tradwife movement, which was very bizarre to me.
That was Nara Smith on a now infamous episode of Call Her Daddy podcast, hosted by Alice Cooper, talking about the label that has defined her online persona for years. And the label I'm talking about is the tradwife label. Did she knowingly perpetuate this stereotype until it was no longer profitable? I believe she did, okay? And I'm gonna get there. Also, to me, and this is just my personal opinion, okay, Nara Smith seemed perfectly content with letting this narrative flourish. Now she is distancing herself from this tradwife narrative. Now she claims that she's just a working mom who works too hard, who loves her kids and never stops, with gentle hands and a heart of a fighter. She is a survivor. Now let me know in my comments if you caught that reference, okay? But before I get into Nara Smith, we have to understand the backlash and understand what it means to be a tradwife or a traditional wife. So the tradwife or the traditional wife movement is a subculture of women who promotes a lifestyle centered around traditional gender roles and prioritizing family life over having a career. Now I know that there are different variants of a tradwife or traditional wife, but for the sake of this video, I'm talking about the subsection of women who only has aspirations of being a wife and a mom. Like, there are some women who have no desire to have a career or any higher educational goals. Like, they just want to be a wife and a mom, and that's it. Now for me, okay, and this is just for me, I could not see myself being a traditional wife according to this definition, because I know it's a trauma response, okay? Because I cannot allow myself to be fully dependent on a man, especially financially, okay? Because I saw a comment that stuck with me forever, and it said that you are literally one argument from being homeless.
No, there is no possibility, none. It's a never for me.
And y'all, when I saw that comment, it got permanently embedded in my brain. I swear it altered my brain chemistry, because I was like, you're absolutely right, okay? There's no way I can allow myself to do that. And yes, I do want to be married, but I will always have my own, okay? I could be married today and divorced tomorrow, but I will still be straight because I got my own. To the women that's out there fully dependent on a man, kudos to you. Could not be me. Y'all remember that movie Diary of a Mad Black Woman where Charles dragged Helen out that house? Y'all, that scene is embedded in my head, okay? Because I feel like if I was a tradwife, I feel like if I was fully dependent on a man, especially financially, like, he will wake up one day and drag my ass out the house. Like, now let's get into Nara Smith, okay? For anyone who don't know who Nara Smith is, Nara Smith was born September 27, 2001. So she's about 24. She's about to be 25. And she's a South African and German model slash influencer slash entrepreneur, and now a book writer. Like, she has a new book coming out, which I will get into a little bit later. But she is married to Lucky Smith. She met Lucky when she was 18 and he was 21, and within 6 months or so they got married, and they now have 4 children together. And Lucky has 1 child from a previous relationship. So in total is 5 children. Also, I think it's an important detail to add that Lucky Smith is Mormon. However, Nara Smith says that she is not Mormon, okay? And I think that's just, you know, another layer to add to this conversation. Nara Smith started to go viral around late 2023, early 2024, from posting ASMR style cooking videos. She would post these elaborate cooking from scratch videos dressed in these designer gowns. Now, even before Nara Smith explained that her videos are satire, it was never my cup of tea because I watch her videos as a creator and not a consumer. So off the bat, it seemed like a grand production, okay? It seems like an exaggeration of everyday life. Like, let's be for real, okay? No one is going in their kitchen cooking these elaborate meals dressed in expensive designer, okay? Maybe it's out of my tax bracket and I don't know anything about that. And what stuck out to me is that, you know, she would be in these videos without an apron on. So it was unbelievable to me for her to be cooking in these expensive clothing without an added layer of protection. And also, she is tending to toddlers, okay, young kids. So I can't see someone having on a $2,000 dress running around tending to toddlers all day, because no shade to toddlers, they do be messy. And the cooking from scratch videos, now Nara Smith did explain that she cooks for everything from scratch for health related reasons, but when I saw her, you know, making gum from scratch, I was like, okay girl, what in the Tyler Perry stage production is this? Okay, no one is making gum from scratch. It always felt like a gimmick. It always felt like a performance that she was doing, but people found Nara Smith to be polarizing. Like, they like this type of content, so they flocked to it naturally. And then the voice, she explained the voice of why she speak this way in her videos.
Like, the voice came from me having put my baby down, and I was like, I've just spent so much time putting you down, there's no way I'm gonna jeopardize waking you up.
But mom's gotta work.
But I gotta get this video up. I take no days off, so we just gotta make it happen. So I spoke really softly and quietly, and I didn't wake my kid up. And then I posted it, and then that's how the voice kind of came about. So everything was born out of this like really innocent place.
But the voice, the way Nara Smith speaks, and the reason why I never gravitated towards her videos, like, her voice reminds me of sitting inside a lobby of a doctor's office. You know how you're waiting to be called to the back, and you're sitting in the waiting room, and there's just this quietness and, you know, this awkward stillness in the air, and everyone is whispering and talking softly. That's what her voice reminds me of. It made me feel like I was sitting inside of a doctor's office. And also, but maybe it's just me, but I feel like the softness and the way that she speaks was a signal to the expectation of women and how they should speak softly and soft spoken and be submissive to their spouse. That's what the voice reminded me of. Then came the pivot. On July 29th, Nara Smith sat down with Alice Cooper on the Call Her Daddy podcast and systematically dismantled the persona that had made her famous. And now let me just say this, okay, because I believe there is nuance in this conversation. Several things can be true simultaneously, okay? Yes, the internet labeled Nara Smith to be this trad life poster child, okay? However, Nara Smith, I don't believe that she was oblivious to what was going on, okay? Nara Smith, you perpetuated this stereotype because it benefited you, okay? And I'm looking at this situation through the lens of a creator, right? If you are producing content that works for you, you see the engagement going up, you see the views going up, you see the following count going up, you are going to continue to produce this content because it works. You are going to milk this cow until it is dry, okay? Nara Smith, that's what you did. I don't believe for 1 second that Nara Smith was oblivious. So let's just watch Nara Smith defend herself, okay?
Yeah, so let's call it what it is. So people started to compare you to tradwife.
Yeah.
And people were
they kind of used me as the poster child for the tradwife movement, which was very bizarre to me.
Why was that bizarre to you?
It was bizarre to me for a multitude of reasons, but you know what? Let's Google what the definition of a tradwife is.
Well, that's perfect. So I'm actually going to ask you, what do you consider a tradwife?
Well, I had to look up the term.
Read it to me.
Because I wasn't familiar with that, right? I didn't know what it means. But the fast answer is a tradwife is a woman who embraces or promotes a traditional model of marriage and family life where she typically prioritizes being a homemaker and a primary caregiver for kids, takes primary responsibility for cooking, cleaning, and managing the household, supports her husband's role as the primary breadwinner, often values traditional gender roles within marriage. So with that definition and those points, I'm none of that. And we can go through it point by point. I don't prioritize being a homemaker. I'm a working mom. Like, I am out in LA. I travel a lot. Do I love cooking because it's my passion and because I kind of have to do it given my autoimmune? Absolutely. But that's a passion of mine. It's a hobby. It's not something that I need to be doing for what?
Right?
Right.
Keep going. I like this. This is good.
Primary caregiver for my kids? No. My husband and I split it 50-50. Like, when he works, I watch them. When I work, he watches them. And now, given everything that's been going on, we also have help. My mom's out. We have someone that helps us with the kids because it's just not doable for me to do it all. So that doesn't really work, right? Takes primary responsibility for cooking, cleaning, and managing the household. Yeah, I like to cook. Okay, sue me. I like to cook. My husband burns everything apart from a good steak, so he'll do that. But I like cooking, so I'm doing it. Household and cleaning, he does the dishes. I don't touch the dishes. There's no way you're gonna see me washing and scrubbing the dishes. Also, he cleans our house. So he's like very like specific with how things need to be cleaned. So he does it.
Perfect.
So that doesn't make any sense. Supports the husband's role as the primary breadwinner. No, we both work. Like that doesn't make any sense. Like, I provide for our family.
So really, I think what's happening is they're taking the image of a woman in a kitchen in a gorgeous dress, and they are assuming that this is your life.
Cooking should not be seen as a gender role, and it should not be the indication that someone is a trad wife, because cooking is not a gender role. You should know how to cook, okay? Cooking is a survivor skill. But I just wanted to add my 2 cents in with that. But getting back to Nara Smith, okay? Nara Smith's defense was that people were putting her in a box and they could not comprehend that a woman could be multifaceted, okay? That's not the issue, Nara, okay? I think the criticism comes from she was doing a little bit of pandering, okay, especially to a conservative audience, and I don't believe for a second that Nara did not know that, okay, and now she is denying it. Also, okay, this was not brought up in this interview, but there are allegations that Nara Smith stole her content style and stole her persona from this South African content creator. Now, I will try my best to not butcher this name. I will place it on the screen. Oneswa Mbala. There are allegations that Nara Smith stole this woman's content, okay? And I do feel that it was weird to not bring this up in this interview. So that brings us to the question of why the sudden and aggressive rebrand. I feel like that this trad wife life is slowly dying out, because you now see the women who try to, you know, preach this lifestyle of being a traditional wife, not even living what they preach, especially Erica Kirk, okay? And that's a conversation for another day. This traditional wife label is a liability, especially in this political climate. She had to drop this act. That's all it was. In act, she had to drop it. Nara Smith, you can pivot and pivot all you want, okay? You can rebrand to be anything, okay? But you cannot gaslight your audience, okay? I feel like that's manipulative to her audience, okay? To act like that she didn't let this narrative flourish as long as it did. Factually, Nara Smith is a working mom. She has worked as a model and now is a massively successful influencer. These are facts that are not in dispute, but it doesn't negate the core criticism that Nara Smith curated this aesthetic that associated with this trad wife movement, and she benefited from it for years. Now, like I said earlier, I don't believe for a second that Nara Smith did not know what she was doing. She was not oblivious this entire time, okay? She did not have to go and now look up what a trad wife is. Like, girl, you been new. Let me know in my comments, was Nara Smith unfairly labeled by an internet that was so quick to put a woman in a box? Or is this just calculated rebranding? And if you haven't done so, please make sure you hit that subscription button, and I will see you all in a new video.